From the Riverside Health and Fitness Center, it's the River Valley Sports Authority. With today's guest, the Hershey Boys basketball team, Prep Athlete of the Week, Evans Patchett. Now here's your host, Jeff Broadway Devine.
Oh, thank you so much, White Top. We are short-handed, if you can't tell. If you're looking, well, first of all, you screwed up the introduction. I think that's 2 weeks in a row. Until we get the professor back, who is out at Moments High School at rehearsal, going to be arsenic and old lace. The professor had that previous commitment. We understood he wouldn't be here, so we turned the responsibilities over to White Top, who hasn't figured out what to do yet. All he's got to do is announce the team and the prep athlete. He can't do it, but he's an artist, and as you know, artists are just a little bit off-center, so that's one of the problems. No professor, and no Vinny. No Vinny, no co-host. He can never be here at this time. He has a regular job. And we thought about substitutes, and I said, well, I'd rather do anything. And they said, well, how about maybe one of the players? And I said, well, no, that's not a good idea. And they said, well, yeah, you ought to try the Elliott kid. And I said, well, we're shorthanded as it is, you know, because Jim doesn't know what he's doing. Our director, Thumper Carter, is at baseball practice right now. But in any case, I just went in, do you think you can handle this? These are big shoes to fill. Can you handle this?
Yeah, I was on the show last year.
Yeah, well, that didn't distinguish you by any means. You know, we have a lot of kids in, okay? But you're going to be the first one that gets the opportunity to grace that seat, okay? Your father, Dave, is that right, Dave?
Dave's my father.
Yeah, is he here?
He didn't come tonight.
He didn't come, that's good. He's probably out taking somebody's insurance premium, isn't he? Huh?
He's at the section working the three-point contest.
Oh, okay, because, you know, every time I see him, there's always a handshake, and then there's an insurance policy in the left pocket and a pen. He's got that old thing where he keeps the pen handy so he can just get you to sign. Okay, well, in any case, I didn't tell him. I got a chance to talk to him last night, but we had a feeling we might have to bring somebody up here. But generally, Billy has his own whistle, okay? We give you a notepad here so that you can make comments and make notes, all right? I'll also provide you, I've got something here for you. I'll provide you with a writing utensil, okay? All right?
Thank you.
And I'm expecting a big contribution from you because you spent time with these young men this year, and as I talked to Thumper and Mr. Reardon, we sat down to look at our monthly schedule for the month of February. I said at that time the best basketball story going in Kankakee County is the Hershey Tigers for several different reasons. Number one, coming into the season, a lot of people coming back, but people hadn't played a lot of minutes. They were going to have to play some key roles. Also looking at a ball club that I don't think anybody thought would even approach 20 wins, and you guys were one win away from that. You ended up playing 19-10. And also a situation where you guys had to do a lot of adversity. You guys had, is that right, 4 starters at one time or another been hurt?
Yeah,
throughout the course of the year?
3 starters, missed games, but 4 of us were hurt.
Okay, and you were hurt. What was your injury?
I twisted my ankle and missed 3 games.
Over a twisted ankle?
Yeah.
And most people would bounce back and probably play the next day. You were out 3 games. What did you have, special things you needed to do during that time off? Or what?
Well, I came visit this building, did some therapy, and then I got back as soon as I could.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk to Coach, and we'll see if your commitment level is that high. I just want to right now introduce what I think is, in my opinion, definitely a candidate for the Coach of the Year in this area. And there's a lot of good coaches, as you know, within Kankakee County. But year in and year out, for Class A ball in particular, I don't think anybody does as good a job as Coach Ryan Olson. And I know he's here because I talked to him earlier. Coach Olson, would you come up here, please? Come on up here. Is there a mic for him over here? Okay. All right. First of all, there's so many pluses. Is he squared to go?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Did you turn it off? Is it back on? Are we in good shape? We can edit this, Coach. I know it's probably your first time working on this. Give a little sound check there. Hello. There we go. Okay. All right. So many pluses about this season, and I know coming into the season, one of the things that had been commented on frequently was, I think you had, what, eight returning players, or 8 lettermen coming back, but not a lot of minutes with those 8 people coming back. Am I right about that?
Yeah, we lost some of our leading scorers last year, but we still had, obviously, Brad and Evan coming back, and our seniors last year got, valuable experience in practice going against those guys, so I felt confident with them, but you're right, we didn't have a lot of experience coming back.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I know in terms of going around and having an opportunity to see some of the other ball clubs in the area play, and I try to catch key matchups, and sometimes Thumper and I go together, or Billy and I'll go, but one of the things that was obvious to me, and I'll just go back just a couple weeks ago because it's kind of fresh in the mind, is when you were playing over Reed Custer. Now, I know that was the third time you're going to play that team, and sometimes there's concerns about playing a team for the third time, especially if you've had success, but there's no question in my mind that one of the components of this ball club is your kids are tough kids. Maybe not necessarily the most blessed athletically, but I thought basically you were just tougher than Reed Custer that night. They just didn't match up with you guys when it came to being hard-nosed. Is that pretty accurate?
Well, I don't know if I want them to hear you say it like that, but
Well, they've got kids graduating too, so you don't have to. Some of those kids won't be back, but you guys, for that night for certain, you guys were tougher. You were tougher too.
I think over the course of the year, I thought, you know, from a toughness standpoint, I thought we found a way to get things done.
Mhm.
And sometimes, you know, we weren't always the prettiest, but I've used this phrase before, when the, you know, smoke clears and the battle's over, I just feel like we found a way to get it done. And sometimes you just gotta be tougher, and we did that, I think.
And I know year in and year out, I know you pride yourself on having to play great defense, but it's not just a matter of pride, it's a matter of necessity, isn't it? You are going to go up against squads that are going to play in some cases. Even this year, I think was a good example. You didn't have a lot of big men. You had a big man in the middle, but then I think after that, didn't you have some post players that were right around the 6-foot mark, maybe even less than that? You've got to be tough physically, don't you?
Yeah, we got a whopping post at 5'11" named Brad Elliott. And,
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, that says it right there. But he plays like he's a lot bigger than that. But when Travis is out of the game, we sometimes had 4 guys on the court under 6 foot. And if you're going to be under 6 foot, you got to find a way to win. And it starts with just guys playing really hard and playing defense. And our guys did that.
It also seemed to me, too, that this might be a ball club that, in terms of being willing to do what it takes to win. Now, you have a person out there, Patrick, that goes out and he scores a lot of points. And in some cases, you've got games where you score 40-something points and he's ringing up 20-something. But it doesn't seem like there is any selfishness on your kids' parts. I think your kids try to do what they have to do at that point, and as far as offensively. That's the other thing. How do you generate points when you don't have a lot of size inside? You got to take maybe a lot of threes, or what kind of things do you try to do to get yourself points in other areas?
Well, we had 3 players that took the majority of the shots. Brad, and then obviously Evan and Travis inside, and you've got to have great team chemistry if you're willing to give yourself up to get the ball to those guys. And we just made it a point to get those guys as many shots as we could. I thought we made, through the course of the year, we could have got the ball inside a little more to Travis, but when Travis got hurt, it changed our whole game a little bit for about a month and a half, and so we got to get used to playing with him again. And it was that hurts you a little bit offensively as far as going from one type of team to another. But overall, we had great team chemistry and great unselfish play, and we had numerous guys off the bench, on the team, various situations, just do whatever it took to help our team win. And I was really proud of them for that.
And this is something, because I'm thinking right now while he's sitting next to me, did Elliott have that chest bump thing going on when he was a sophomore? Has he always done that little thing where he flies in the air and throws his chest up against somebody during the introductions? Is that something that just started when he started being able to shoot the 3? When did that come about?
I don't know.
Huh? What about that? When did that happen? When did you start the chest bump thing?
Well, Mitch, he's a pretty strong guy. He's got a big chest, and so I always want to compare. So we bump chests before every game. That's our little routine.
Kind of like a little good luck thing, get you loose and ready to go and stuff like that?
Definitely a good luck thing.
It doesn't stop you from clinking 3-pointers every once in a while, though, does it? You still kind of clink them once in a while, don't you?
I try to clink.
Yeah. Patchett's got that stroke, that, ball hangs real high all net, and then you got Elliott, and it's crash, clink. Every once in a while he nails one, but you hit a real key one late in the game that, well, who knows why the heck you took it. I guess you just felt it was your time, but that was something else when I was watching the ball game last night. I was not aware. I know that you guys just did a tremendous thing. Whatever adjustments you made at halftime, you came out and you shut that team down. I think they didn't score until like the minute 32 mark or 38 mark of the third quarter. What kind of adjustments did you make last night that you were able to have that kind of success?
Well, I thought we played a lot tougher the second half. First half, we said we were getting out-toughed. And we played tougher the second half. Brad did a better job of pushing their All-State candidate, Webster boy, out a little bit. Caleb Benoit did a great job of helping. We doubled off of his man a little more. And they had a little more trouble scoring. In fact, they only scored 3 field goals in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if somebody would have told me we would have held the team to 3 field goals in the second half, we would have won. But we obviously had that bad start, and that really hurt us. But yeah, our defense, we did a super job second half.
And the, you know, the Webster kid, now, and that was the other thing I thought, you know, this is Midland. Where in the heck is Midland? I mean, I just, you know, it's over by Peoria, isn't
Yeah,
it?
in fact, as an assistant coach, I won our first regional was against Mid-County High School, which is a part of Midland. It's straight west of Winona High School. I don't know if you know where Winona is. It's on Route 17. It takes into account that whole rural area there between Varna, Lakin, Sparlin, straight east of Peoria, about 20 miles.
Did you have, because of the distance, did you get an opportunity to scout that team? Did you send somebody to a game, or did you get any film, or how did you go into last night's game? Did you have some information?
Yeah, we scouted them and we had a film on them, and we had pretty much what I thought we had to do to win. We didn't quite execute that first half, but we had a pretty good idea of what they do.
And you know, I would never. Well, I know you never would either. I think Webster kind of went through the lane once or twice and gave you like a little elbow flip, kind of gave you a little flip in the stomach, and I think I saw you retaliate a couple times too, but I'd never say the officials would ever cost a game, and yet the officiating at times was suspect, but the bottom line is when it comes down to things you can control, you still have enough things under your control last night. You could have won that game maybe with a couple blockouts or some free throws or that type of thing. Did you feel that way also?
Yeah, officials don't cost you a game ever. It's making plays. The first half being down 11, that was probably the game.
If they really don't have that much of an influence, then why do you spend so much time talking to them? You say a lot of things to the officials. I mean, you say a lot of things, and sometimes, you know, he's got this. Have you ever seen the Gator clap? Coach is out there doing the Gator clap sometimes, and I'm thinking, what is that all about? And I realize you're trying to get somebody's attention. A lot of times it's those guys in the white and black. If they don't have anything to do with it, why do you bother with it? Why do you bother?
I just like talking to them sometimes.
And you know, there's times when I think they really don't want to hear what you got to say. I really believe that. Matter of fact, you know, the one official, I think you got him so shook up. He was, after every call, coming to explain to you what he called and why. The guy with the glasses. Oh no, coach, they were both going for the ball. Hey, can't call anything, they were both going for the ball. Why did he feel like he had to tell you that?
Well, he did make a crucial call on Travis late in the game.
And it was a terrible call, but it didn't cost you the game, that's for sure.
He wanted to explain to me why he called it the way he did, and I was glad he did.
And then do you guys touch base and say, I'll see you at Casey's after the game, have a little Pepsi? You guys have those kind of conversations?
No.
No? Okay. You know, something else I got to thinking about this Gator. You might remember this. The Gator clap, I think there was like about 10 seconds left over at Reed Custer. And I think it was 1, 2, now listen to me. Don't foul. Do you give them a Gator clap just to let them know that if they should foul, that maybe they could fall in between those two hands? They don't want to do it. Why do you do that? Can't you just say, hey, fellas, don't foul? Why you got to do the clap?
Sometimes you just need something to emphasize your point a little bit more.
I see. Okay. Now, let me get your view. When Coach is over there doing the Gator clap, what are you thinking in your mind? He's lost it again. What goes through your mind?
I just look on the court and hope he's yelling at somebody else besides me.
And you know something? I wish my partner was here because, you know, Vinny, we were sitting there last night and I said, you know something? I've watched Coach Olson for years. I said, he's the same. I said, he's passionate about the game. He gets the most out of his kids. There's times when I think this guy deserves to go to the state tournament just based on the effort that he puts into it. But, you know, Vinny said, he looked at me and he said, you know something? Not everybody likes him. I said, well, why is that? He said, well, I think he yells too much. Well, now, I thought about it. I thought, you know, Vinny's got all daughters. He probably doesn't ever want his daughters to get yelled at, but, you know, he could probably never play for a guy like Coach Olson. But people see that, they walk in, it's the first time they see him, and they think, you know, this guy's out of his gourd. You know, his shirt tail's coming out of the back of his pants. But you played for him for a long time. Describe to me how you feel and why you feel Coach Olson's been so successful. What's the reason he's so successful?
Well, he does a really good job motivating the players, and when he's yelling, you say he yells a lot, okay? He's yelling at you for something that he knows you can do better than you're doing. It's not for something that he's not expecting you to do something you can't do. And when you're not performing up to your expectations, you know, his little extra butt chewing a little bit kind of gets you rolling because he knows what you're capable of doing, and sometimes even performing better than you could even perform.
Well, you know something, this was a squad this year that had some seniors that played a key role, and not always started. Some of the seniors came off the bench, but I want to get a couple of them up here, and let's start with, let me see, is Doug Hillary here? Yeah, Doug, come on up here, Doug. Have a seat, young man. Okay, Coach, I might ask you to pass the mic just to, oh, he's got his own, for goodness, well, that's one thing White Top did, probably owe another bill somewhere, but we got another mic. Okay, I want to get your version. How long have you played for Coach? How many years?
Well, 2 years on varsity.
Okay, all right. Did you kind of hesitate maybe going up to varsity knowing you'd have to look at this guy every day at practice? I mean, did that kind of thing bother you? How did you manage to get around that?
No, I've been going to basketball camp with him since I was like 2nd grade, so I know just about everything.
Does he start yelling at you when you're real young, or does he wait until you get in the varsity shoes? When does he start yelling at you?
He breaks you in.
He breaks you in? Does he really? Okay, excellent. Talk to me a little bit about, as far as you reflect on this season. I know everybody goes out and they say, yeah, we're going to win every game, we're going to go to state and everything else, but with the makeup of your squad coming in, did you guys feel you were going to post 19 wins? Because I know I talked to a lot of so-called basketball aficionados in this area, and they thought you guys would be lucky if you got a dozen wins. Did you guys come in with a lot of confidence?
Yeah, I did feel like we could.
Mhm.
I mean, the height was a major factor in
Right.
not winning, but yeah, we had Evan.
Mhm. And then you've always got dead weight like Elliott. You know, every once in a while you got to cover for him because he doesn't want to do what he was supposed to do. But what was your role this year? Does Coach sit down and actually talk to you about what your role is for that team, or are you just supposed to kind of figure it out as you go, or does it change from game to game? What was your role coming into this year? What did he want you to get accomplished?
I was the aggressive one.
Okay. All right, which means you foul a lot.
Defense.
Did you foul a lot?
Last couple games, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what's the problem? Did you have a sprained ankle like Elliott? What was the problem? Why couldn't you stay in front of your man? What was the deal?
Yeah, I had bursitis in my knee.
Bursitis?
Yes.
Okay, so you're another one of the injured crew. Okay. Let me ask you something. As far as this squad goes, in your estimation, you guys at one point or another lost one of the 4 starters. What was the most difficult time? Which was the one that was toughest for you to deal with when that person was out?
Definitely Travis.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, like Coach said earlier, having 4 guys under 6 foot
Mm-hmm.
is hard rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major factor.
What about point production? Where were you at? Was your job to distribute the ball, or just were you gonna? Where were you at?
I'd look for the open guy.
You look for the open guy? Yeah. Is that because you can't shoot?
No,
No. It's just because Coach didn't want you to shoot?
I wouldn't say that.
No.
I'd like to add something there.
Sure. Go ahead.
Just so for the record here,
Yeah. Let's get this right.
Doug was our 4th leading shot taker this year.
Didn't realize that, did you? Uh-huh.
Say shot maker now, shot taker.
Shot taker. Yeah.
But no, he did a great job.
Looks like
He
you
had
had
some big shots for us.
He had the old trigger finger going. I saw that. Okay. Well, you know something else. You guys had a couple other seniors that played a role, and I just wondered: is Mitch Camp here? I thought I saw it. Was it 34? Is that Camp? 34? He came in last night and played some minutes late. Where's he at?
Right
Come on up here, Mitch. Right behind. Right behind. Oh, he's great. Okay. You came in late in the game, or some moments late in the game and everything else, and I thought, well, this is again, Coach has got you in there for a reason. What were his instructions to you before you went on the court? What kinds of things did he want you to get done?
First, he wanted me to contain 30. He
Okay.
was a scrub. He shouldn't have scored as many points as he did, but he got lucky a couple times, and my job was to help contain him, but also help out on 44 when, like, if Brad, because he could beat Brad. He was quicker and stuff, but we had to contain him. And
Well, he's pretty honest about it, isn't he? He can beat Brad. He can take Brad to the hole. Yeah.
well, he showed that.
Mhm.
And then I don't know. It's just when I come in, my job is to motivate the team.
Okay.
Just to pick the team up, get us fired up, and just get us going. And I mean, I try to do that as well as I can, but some games it happens, some games it doesn't.
Now is that usually something that happens from the standpoint of doing something special, like getting on a loose ball, or getting a rebound, or on the defensive end, or what's your way that you motivate the guys? How do you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just create a lot of energy, I guess. They all
Yeah.
come out. I come out and they get happy.
It might have been, well, it might be because they're thinking he's not going to be out here very long. They might be thinking that too. No, I was going to say, one of the things you hit 2 really big free throws last night, didn't you?
Yeah, up to that point, I think I'd missed 6 or 8 of my.
No,
free
I
throws
got the
before that.
impression, because again, I tried to pay as close attention as I could as far as your squad goes, but then of course we watch other squads, and you went up to the line. I said something to my partner about it. I said, you know something? He doesn't look real comfortable. And then you made the first one, And usually there's a sigh of relief, and I said, you know something, you don't like any better now than he did on the
It's
first one.
frightening.
You just don't get to the free throw line very much, or
Well,
what's
no,
it?
I get there, but the buckets don't fall.
They just, no, because the ball is supposed to fall. You're not looking for the bucket to fall. That's the Elliott way of shooting the ball. Clang, break it. No, you want to do the patchet thing.
I don't have the patchet thing.
You don't have the patchet thing. Okay, all right. As far as when you come into a game, when you guys have like a little huddles, and is there like a particular exchange that like sticks out in your mind that maybe someone said something, or maybe you had to say? I see right now, like, yeah, let's hear about one exchange this year that would give us a little bit more information about this.
I can't say that on television.
Can't say that. Well, we can edit it, but you know, we do have some young people here. We don't want to.
Well, we'd
what was
always
the
say,
gist of it?
Kick butt. It would
Ah,
always be, all right, guys, let's kick butt.
yeah, that goes back to coach wanting to have a hard, tough-nosed type of defense. That comes from him,
And
doesn't
we
it?
had to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want you guys, and I want to try and get as many people as I can up here tonight, but I want you guys to know that regardless of what you do after you leave here, where you go to school, these are going to be some things you're going to remember for a long time, but as far as a story, and this isn't talking with some of the people at the Journal, some of the people at radio stations, you guys were by far, if anything, in their minds, some of the most overachieving young men that they've seen in a long time, and I just want to congratulate you for the kind of season you had, okay? And I want to get a couple other seniors up here. 2 champions right there, people. I say it was the Reed Custer Class A regional champions. That's what they are. I was trying to get White Top to say that. Okay, is there also, let me see, where's Caleb Benoit? Yeah, there we go. And Phil Olson. Phil Olson? Yep. Oh, that name's got a ring to it. That's right. You know, I didn't realize. I was talking with my man, like, well, let me ask you something. Is there, I'm going to ask him too, but what happens when coach has a son on the team? You guys ever get together and say, you know, we're gonna freeze him out? What kind of things go on in the locker room when you talk about that going on?
Well, the coach's son knows more than any of us put together about basketball.
What, do you have him for a class or something? What are you saying things like that for? What? No, you're a fan of Olsen. Your career's over with Olsen. You're not coming back. He doesn't care what you say right now.
I know, but Phil, he knows the game really well, and so it's almost like having 2 coaches. Well, we have a lot of assistants on the bench, but as far as a player, it's like having a player coach. Phil, he sees stuff that none of us see, and
Okay.
he knows the game really well.
Okay. Well, Phil, let me ask you something. Grab a mic there. Let me ask you something. What is it like to live in the household of a man that Gator claps probably once or twice a day? What is it like? Does he do that at home too?
Like, I actually wants me, like, at home, like, you know, it doesn't come too hard on me or anything.
Yeah.
We talk about the game some, but, like, if I do something wrong, we don't talk about it at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not something that's
Unless
dinner
it's really
conversation.
bad, then they'll bring it up.
Okay. What's probably the worst thing you ever did on the basketball court that you thought, boy, he's gonna get me for that? What's the worst thing you ever did in a basketball court?
I stared him down this year once, and then he yelled at me.
You are not real smart, are you? What's your grade point like?
4.6 right now.
And you said he's smart on the basketball court, and he's staring down the coach, and coach happens to be
I
dad.
had to
Yeah.
run some laps.
So you guys listen to him in the Hope, and that's the first one you listen to, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, okay, all right, well, that explains some things. You're a senior this year, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you have thoughts maybe someday down the road, maybe following your father along the lines of maybe coaching basketball? Because I have heard from other people, not just Elliot here, that you do really understand the game. Is it occurred to you that maybe you could have a future coaching
I
basketball?
would like coaching, but I don't feel like teaching, so you
Okay.
gotta teach to coach.
Well, you know, I don't think that's always the case. I think people can get ASAP certificates. Certain districts, I think you need to be the head coach. Well, Aurora coach, Gordy Kirkman, or what? He doesn't teach in the district. He works at a hardware store. They've been down to the state tournament a number of different times. Is it Gordy Kirkman, Gillespie?
I think he used to teach.
He did it one time, but I'm saying the last time they were down at the state tournament, I know he's working for some hardware distributorship. So you're just saying that right now because you really don't want to coach, right? Is that what it is?
I like coaching. It'd be fun, but
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just put you on the spot a little bit. What would you have changed about this year in terms of how you prepared this team than you did? What would be some of the things that you would have done differently than the old guy? What would you have done?
no.
And he's looking right at you.
Nothing.
I didn't think so. Okay. Pass it right down here. I want to talk to this young man. Okay. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah? Reed Custer. We're going to talk about last night's game as well, but Reed Custer. What was the feeling of that team before the game? Because I know a couple different things going in. I know that Reed Custer thought they were starting to peak at that time. We'd had them in earlier in the year, and we had an opportunity to share some information with some of their people right before the tournament. What was your guys' feeling about that team? Is it a thing about maybe having to beat the team 3 times, or were you guys aware they were peaking at that time?
Well, we come off that beating Mac there in the game before, and we were pretty high on that one.
Did you love that? Did you love beating Mac? Did that make you
It's
feel
a good
good?
feeling.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
Okay.
But yeah, we knew we'd beaten Reed Custer twice before, and we had a good feeling. We knew what they did best. So we had a good grip on their plan. And, you know, we were pumped about being in the championship game, and we thought we could get the job done.
You guys look like you were body to body on them all night long. It seemed like every time they were trying to send a cutter or they were trying to get somebody flashy, you guys were bumping them all like. Is that something the coach reminds you about, or is that something you just kind of do routinely in practice to where you get to that? Because again, like I said, to me, their shooters were never in rhythm because they were always like a step off or maybe a step farther away than where they wanted to be. Is that something you guys practice?
Yeah, we practiced that, you know, every day. But they're a really good offensive team, and we did some good things to shut them down, especially the three-point shooters. They struggled from the arc, so that was one of the.
And I think isn't Shorkey, isn't that the kid's name, the big boy in the post? He had a little run there where he scored some points, but for the most part, you guys are more concerned about them lighting up from the 3 because I think you guys kind of learned to live with. They'll get some points inside. Is that kind of what the attitude was?
We knew if we could shut them down from outside, then we had a pretty good shot.
Well, you guys did a great job. Now let's talk about last night's game in particular. What did you know about that ball club? I know what Coach says. You know, he had the information. What did you know about that ball club going in?
Well, we knew that they had a pretty similar record to us, and we knew they had that All-State kid who was pretty good, and they had 2 outside shooters that we needed to guard, and we had the game plan down, we just didn't execute well.
There was one stretch. I think I commented earlier. I think Webster had 8 consecutive points at one time before you called the timeout. I don't know. I know you did a super job in Webster late in the 3rd, 4th quarter. I think I saw you on him a little bit in the first half, but what was going on when he had that stretch of 8 points right there? What was going on? There wasn't good communication on defense, or did your ankle start hurting? What was it exactly?
Well, at the timeout, Coach said that I had to not let him get the ball so easily, and I wasn't playing as close to him and up tight to him, and so he was catching the ball, and I could body up and be as physical as I could against him, but he could still shoot over me with that fadeaway shot, and so after Coach said we had to make it harder for him to get the ball, then my defense looked a lot better because he wasn't able to get the ball as easily and score shooting over me.
And he did, Coach, if I can ask you real quick, he did a remarkable job that I saw in the second half, and I think a part of it was the Webster kid was getting the ball in an area where he didn't feel like he was as effective. You know, when he got the ball just around the hash mark down there, around the block, he felt really comfortable, but it seemed like the farther he got pushed out, the less of a threat he was, and that was really basically just on things he was doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brad just played a lot tougher, pushed him out a little bit, and then, like I said earlier, Caleb also did a great job of doubling him a few times, and he didn't quite get his rhythm. So we did a great job on Webster's second half.
Sure did. Matter of fact, what did he end up with for games?
It's 17.
17? And what's his average? Right around there? Or
Yeah,
a little bit more?
I think he had 25 in the regional championship now.
Yeah.
And he's their leading scorer, their MVP, so I was happy with that.
You also, there was a stoppage, I think, you got like a cut, you got cut, well, how did that happen?
It was in the first half, and I don't know, the guy was, I think it was 44. He's
that dirty player, wasn't he?
Dirty.
He really was. I'm right about it. He did give you a couple elbow flips, did he?
I didn't give him any back, though, but he gave me a bunch.
You're going to sit here and lie in front of all these people. I saw you. I saw you one time just flat out push him. Is that something Coach approves of?
No.
But I think you did it because you realized you only had one foul at the time. I think
Right, I was playing smart, right?
Yeah, you're playing smart. Yeah, okay. So how'd you get this?
Yeah, I made a cut to the basket, and his fingernail, he had some girly fingernails, and it cut me. And it felt like I had a cut, kind of wiped it, but I didn't see any blood or whatever. And then a little bit later in the quarter, the referee said I need to go get that taken care of, and so put a little tough skin on there and a Band-Aid. And
Now, is there ever anything that comes up in the scouting report that the guys from Varna have long fingernails? Is that something that it doesn't get that detailed, does it?
No, not that detailed.
No. And I wasn't so sure they should have even been allowed to come over here and play. The more I saw, because I saw some things out there that I thought really weren't. It was a great high school basketball game, but your team definitely had more class. Don't you think you guys had a lot more class than they did? I thought you guys handled everything real well, but except for occasionally Elliott threw up a clinker. But for the most part, I thought in my mind that if you guys could ever get, I'll just say a 3 or 4 point lead. As far as I know, you guys tied the ball game at 31. But did you get a lead at one point in time?
Yeah, we took a 2-point lead and they called the timeout. We were on a 13-0 run at that time.
Right.
And I made a great coaching move there. We switched to the zone and they scored 2 free throws.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Was that just from the standpoint of you just wanted to do something strategically, or in your mind you had seen something earlier, you thought this is a good time to do it, or what did you make that call for?
well, the scout report was that they didn't attack the zone real well for starters, so we always had it in the back of our mind to run. And then I thought 44 did get a couple decent looks during that stretch and missed one of those. I guess he missed both of those, so I figured they had something set up for him, so we thought we'd just go one possession and go zone, make him do something different what they planned. And it really worked. They passed the ball around, I think, for about 45 seconds. And they took a shot and missed it, but we didn't get the defensive rebound.
Yeah,
And then we fouled them, I think, on the shot.
Yeah, and it is hard. It is so hard to get teams to play for that long a period of time. You know, be in the right spot for 45 seconds. It's so easy to have a breakdown, but then when you give up a little chippy or you give up a little offensive rebound, it's just a killer, isn't it?
When you're short, it's harder to rebound in the zone because people can crash.
Right.
And when you're man-to-man, at least everybody's got a guy to block out. And we've had a little trouble in our zone because of that fact, being short. But I thought it was worth to get our risk there. It just didn't work out.
Let's. It's about your time. Why don't you? Give me another 2 ball players up here. Call a couple guys up here. Be in charge. Let's have a few folks.
Are we ready for Evan yet?
Sure, we can have
All
Evan
right,
up
let's have
here.
Evan Page come up.
Come on up here, Evan. Here we go.
And how about Travis, the cherry Winnicki? How about having him come up here?
Travis, what? Say it again. Travis, what?
T-Money, we call him. T-Money,
Oh,
toddler.
is this on the back of the shirt where you guys all, what's on the back of your warm-up shirt? What is it called?
Mr. Roboto. That's another inside story.
Yeah, is it something you can share with the general public?
Yeah, okay.
How did that come about?
Last year, a few times, maybe more than a few times. Coach, do you want to do the alligator clap for me?
Sure.
And after that, he said, "You are not a robot. You're not a robot." And it happened a few times this year also, but I improved a little bit on it as far as reading the defense. And just because the offense says go set a screen on this guy or cut off a screen this way, you don't have to do it if the defense reacts in a different way. In the song, Mr. Roboto says, "I'm not a robot," and there are a few times, and so Mr. Roboto was my name.
So basically, putting it on the back of the shirt, you were kind of mocking Coach, weren't you? You were kind of letting him know, I don't care. I don't care what you say. I'll put Mr. Roboto back. Is that how you did it? You wanted to mock him a little bit?
Just slight mockage.
And I think what it comes down to is probably the most difficult thing to do is you actually challenged Elliott to think, didn't you? You're not a robot. Think and look and see what's happening and then react. But he just a lot of times just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, didn't he?
Well, Brad, he's like a computer. You program him, and he goes in the direction you program him. And sometimes in basketball, you gotta be a little more flexible. And Brad has gotten a lot better from his sophomore year to his senior year, no doubt about in that area. But
I had said one thing because I knew I was going to tease him unmercifully, but I would say one thing, and if my co-host was here, he could make the comment before I said, right now I can tell you, because I've had some experience with the young man before, also in another sport, baseball as well, that if he had a tattoo, which heaven forbid you don't have a tattoo, do you?
No way.
Dave would not allow that, would
Yeah, I'm still living under Mr. Elliott's
Yeah, I
roof.
didn't think so. But if he had a tattoo, I think it would probably be something along the line of warrior. He would be a person that, regardless of the situation, he's going to fight and fight and fight until the very end. Is that pretty accurate characterization of him?
very much so. I've coached since 1976, and I've not coached a tougher player than Brad
I
Elliott.
believe that, absolutely. Now let's talk about the prima donna, Patchett. How you doing, Mr. Patchett? Huh? Real good. How did you develop your shot? Because you know something that I noticed? Well, first of all, let me ask you something. Are you more comfortable coming off a screen, catching and shooting? Do you like to create your shot a little bit? Because you do a little bit of everything. But what's the most comfortable situation for you to make a shot? How do you prefer to get the ball?
I like coming off screens better.
Yeah.
More open, but
Yeah.
I like dribbling up and shooting too.
Okay, well, kind of like, you know, and I said that to my co-host when I was there last night. I think it was like at the 4-minute mark. I said, you know something? What's going to happen? Patchett's going to come down and shoot a three-pointer to end the game. And I was right. I just didn't carry it through and say we'll win the game. But that's actually, obviously, you nailed a three-pointer at the end, didn't you? Didn't they count that?
Yeah.
I thought so, okay. What about as far as your shooting style, where does that come from? Did you go and learn that from a camp? Because you do have, in terms of a shot, one of the most natural looking, even at the free throw line, you have such a natural stroke. Is that from some of the camps, or is that something you've got in your family that worked with you early on? How'd you develop that?
Well, I've been going to basketball camps since grade school, and Hersher camp as coach, my parents. And I pretty much had the same shot all my life, so
Okay.
just been getting better.
Coming into the season, did you have any personal goals for yourself?
I wanted to help my team win and do everything I could, play hard, have no regrets.
To get as many points as you do on a regular basis, do you go into the game saying my role is to make sure that I get points, or do you just go into the game and say, look, if it happens, it happens, I got to take care of the other things? Because there were times, like I said, when you guys had scored 40-something points and you were scoring 20-something. So did you go into the game knowing I've got to make sure I get the point production tonight for us to win, or how do you approach the game?
Well, my main purpose is to win the game, but I know I have to score a lot to win. Because everybody looks up to me to score.
And it takes a lot out of you. Or Coach, I'll ask you about it. When they've got somebody that you know going into the game, they're going to key on him. I mean, they're not done. They know he scored, and been a major scorer for you. It takes a lot of energy that you have to invest on the offensive end to continue to work hard enough to get yourself open shots. Was he pretty much an Ironman this year? Did you have to give him occasional blows so he could come out and get his legs under him, or his conditioning was fine, or how did you deal with that all year long?
Well, I thought conditioning-wise, both Brad and Evan never came out, and they were in great shape. They were in better shape than anybody we played all year. In fact, our whole team was. But I think the remarkable thing about Evan is that Evan brought the ball down. He was our leading scorer, and he wasn't as selfish as maybe he could have been. I mean, I would have liked him to shoot a little more sometimes. Once in a while, I had to get on him a little bit for maybe he could be a little more aggressive. And then from a defensive standpoint, he would always guard the toughest perimeter player. So, I mean, never leave the game, great defense, leading scorer, point guard. What else? Average 6 rebounds a game. What else is there?
Absolutely. Now, what about as far as Evan? Do you have some plans for you? Would you like to continue your basketball career a little bit? Have you given it any thought?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to. I don't think I'm ready to quit yet, but I'm not really sure.
Have you got some schools maybe in mind that you're entertaining the thought of going, or have you been contacted by anybody?
Not really yet.
Not yet? Okay. Some of that will come though, don't you think?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine someone that's had the kind of year. And I don't know, Coach, do they have an RVC Player of the Year? Because I know Susie, we had talked, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, and at that point in time, I think, I said my particular persuasion was I thought that'd probably be the RVC Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'd be really disappointed if Evan doesn't make that.
I mean, I can't think of anybody else in any of the squad that really, right now, would be even a close second, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, maybe you've seen with the guys you've played, there's some good players out there, but I don't think anybody really comes close to Evan.
In fact, we have our conference meeting tomorrow night.
Oh,
That'll be done tomorrow night.
Okay, all right. Well, if you get upset, you go in there clapping. Let them know you're serious. This is business, okay? Let's talk real quick before we turn the mic over to your big guy right there. I know that early in the season, or maybe even before the season started, you made a couple comments about being aware that you were going to be a little small in the post, but that you did have a big man in the middle. And I know I think you made a reference to we will have still a big three, at least 3 up here, to make contributions. What and when did you see that this young man was going to come in and be able to make the kind of impact he did as a sophomore?
Well, we knew as a freshman last year he had the potential, and he practiced with us some along with Brant Partain. And then one of the reasons you have summer basketball is not only for kids to get better, but for you as a coach to get a little better grip on your team. And we knew this summer that Travis was going to be a force. And he just got better and better. He had an unfortunate accident. He sprained his ankle the last game of the summer. And so, he's had some tough injuries, and he bounced back from that, came back in the fall and worked extremely hard. And till he got hurt in early December there, he was averaging, I think, 8-9 points a game, 8 rebounds. Then he got hurt, dislocated his knee, and to his credit, comes back in January, and when he comes back, he just gradually works himself in, and he ends up averaging the same thing, 8 points, 8 rebounds, and big factor in our success. In fact, we talked about this at the Recuster Regional. We almost lost to Dwight that first night, and Travis came in and saved the day. We struggled, and he had some big offensive rebound buckets, and just did a super job. And the best part about all this is he's got 2 more years.
Yeah, yeah. I had an opportunity, pass the mic there, would you there? I had an opportunity to see you in the Thanksgiving tournament the first time, and like I said, I had been kind of apprised of, you know, what your potential was and everything else, and then there's that old expression, so the potential means basically he hasn't done anything yet, okay? Did you come into this season knowing that you were going to have to be a major player for this team to rack up 19 wins, or did you just come in just hoping I get some playing time and I do good? What was your focus coming in?
In the summer, Coach kind of made it known that I wouldn't be, you know, like Evan, I'd be kind of a role player. You know, I had to get rebounds, score a couple baskets here and there, and just kind of play my spot, you know, as best I could. But as the season went on, he kind of worked on me with a couple things, my defense in particular. So
You like to bang a little bit?
yeah, I'd say I like to bang.
Yeah, because I just, you know, I made some observations, and the first time it was actually, I think it was Thumper was talking to me, and he said, we were watching you play, and I said, you know, it looks to me like he's getting kind of ticked off. You like to hit people, but you don't like people hitting you. Isn't that pretty much the way it works?
When people start to hit me, I get a
You
little
get a little upset, don't you? Matter of fact, does
Yeah.
Coach ever have to maybe call you out for a second, or maybe, I see sometimes, isn't Holden every once in a while, it looks like he's trying to let you know. It's okay, it's a part of the game, but you don't agree with that. You don't think people should hit you, do you?
I think there should be a little bit going on, but when they get over get across the line, Coach Holmgren usually lets me know when I need to push my temper down a little bit.
Who did you play against this year that you really did find to be really difficult for you, though, physically?
Big Shorty.
Shorty?
He was definitely the most physical I went against.
Yeah, he came, he was in on the show one time, we talked a little bit, and I guess he went to this performance sports over in Joliet where they work on increasing your speed, lateral movement quickness, and everything else, and before I got a chance to see him play, this is what I kept hearing from the coaching staff and his family, is how much better he was going to be, but when I watched him play, he's not particularly quick, he's just kind of a banger, he just kind of roots and gets himself in position and knows what to do when he catches the ball. You didn't find him to be particularly quick, did you?
I didn't think he was very quick. He had some weight on me. We were about the same height, but I had trouble keeping him out of the lane. You know, as soon as he caught the ball, he was able to, you know, just back me right in. So.
I might have been wrong about this, and if I'm correctly, but a couple of times I thought you were kind of like maybe giving him a little shot in the back sometimes to get him out of the post. Is that something the coach talks to you about, or is that just something you figure I'll do and if coach don't find out about it, it's okay?
They tell me to keep my arm up, but
No, this wasn't keeping your arm up. This was actually going in and getting a couple shots.
I flick it into him a little bit here.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. You obviously have a tremendous future ahead of you, but in reflection now, since you've had a chance to look back after this season, what kind of things do you want to get accomplished now before next season you think are really going to allow you to be even more of a dominating player?
Before next season, I think I need to work on my defense a lot. Free throw shooting, that's one thing, and just in general, my offense, you know, post moves, things like that.
Sure. You have a favorite move right now?
Right now,
Drop step or inside pivot or anything? Is there anything in particular you really feel most comfortable with?
if I turn around to my right and just take a jump shot, that's my favorite.
Okay. Go ahead, Coach.
I was just going to say, sometimes Travis doesn't get greedy enough either, and he's a great kid. Sometimes he doesn't shoot the ball. We had a situation in practice Monday night where he decided he wasn't going to shoot the ball, even though if I told him to shoot the ball. So he had a rather it's humorous looking back at it now. Maybe it wasn't humorous at the time.
He didn't do the Olsen stare down or nothing, did he? He didn't do anything?
No,
like
he
that,
just, I said, Travis, you want to shoot or you want to run? And so next time Travis caught the ball,
Easy decision,
he
wasn't it?
didn't want to shoot. He passed it again. So we're practicing up and down the floor while Travis was running up and down the floor on the sideline. But hopefully next year he will shoot the basketball. Yeah, because he could be a real force the next 2 years.
Now, is he a person, without seeing more of him, because you've seen, is he a person though that can also, you've had post players in the past that can kind of step out and also hit the jump shot, or is he somebody you want to kind of keep tight to the basket and just work on the different post moves?
Well, Travis is such a good offensive rebounder. I think if he goes too far away from the bucket, he will lose his effectiveness. So I really doubt if he'll be straying too far away.
Give me a moment this year, because I like to have people, because every season there's something really stands out. But give me a moment this year when you saw Travis in a ball game do something you thought, I didn't realize he could do that. You knew he was good, you knew he's got some potential, you knew he's going to develop, but give me something that he did during a game that you thought, I didn't realize he could do that.
Well, I don't know if I can remember one single play, but I remember offensive rebound basket he made. I think it was against Prairie Central. And he was way under the basket, and how he was able to stretch up and stick it in gave us an idea of how much of an athlete he is.
And the body control. The body
Exactly.
control to do it, yeah, yeah. I saw a couple different moments this year where I thought, you know something? You have the potential from what I've seen in terms of what the River Valley Conference, as far as post people, I think you've got as much potential as anybody I've seen. I would think in 10 years, as far as the other schools that I've looked at. And I'm just concerned about you. You had the knee injury. Were there any other injury problems that you had? You had an ankle and a knee? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I've hurt both of my ankles. My right one in particular in the summer, I did a good job on that one. But besides that, just my knee.
Okay. And you're back to 100% pretty much? You still
Yeah,
have a little bit of work to do?
It hasn't been bugging me at all recently
Okay.
until just last night. I bumped it once, but
Well, one thing that's been kind of, if I could make one criticism of Coach Olson, it would have to be the one thing I'm going to ask you to do. Please stay healthy, because for some reason he can never have a squad that stays healthy. You guys have been bumped in the regional, and I was trying to reflect before you won this year's regional championship. You guys at some point in time have always ended up where you've been banged up in a big game, and it's really cost you. Well, what do you do that you can't keep your kids healthy?
Well, I think it's just recently, too. We went for a stretch from 92 to 98 where we were very fortunate with injuries, and I think we won 6 or 7 regionals that stretch, and won about, I'd say, 12 or 13 just overall championships.
Right.
So I can't complain too much, I don't think. It's just this recent stretch the last 2 years that we've had probably the majority of our injuries.
And now that you're thinking about the years, it kind of started with Elliott, didn't it? I mean, Elliott, he gets a little injury, and then everybody else follows. I got an ankle injury too, or I got a leg injury. He's supposed to be such a tough kid, but he really doesn't set a real good example all the time, does he?
Well, he does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He has his moments, you're right, like anybody else.
I thought so. Well, speaking of example, I want to make sure that we get the rest of the team up here, but before we do that, you guys, in my estimation, all year long, first of all, your student body was incredible. You had a tremendous fan support this year. Not just the student body, but your fans that come to the games, and the ones I saw, again, I thought this is what good high school basketball is about, but you had a secret weapon. I saw this little young lady, Ty Lee. I guess she's a mascot. And I saw this young lady, and I thought, if Elliott could get in that kind of shape, you might have some. I think one night, if she did about 300 backflips. I mean, just one right after the other, right after the other. I don't know how she got involved with this program, but I know her mother's here tonight, and she's the daughter of one of your coaches, correct?
Coach Schleich is our sophomore basketball coach, and it's his daughter, and she has a lot of energy.
She certainly does. Well, I'd like to have I know the mother's still here. Isn't she? Can we have her up? I'd like to have Tylee and her mother come up here. This young lady, I don't know, when there's a timeout, and the cheerleaders get out there and they're trying to get the crowd more involved and everything else. I know you're always just rooted to whatever Coach Olson's saying, but did you ever see this little whisk go right by you in a little black and gold squirt? Did you ever see something like that?
we saw Tyler out there a lot, and before the game she would come tell us good luck and everything, and she was a big part of the team.
I know that. How you doing, young lady? Good. Can I ask you something? How did you and when did you get involved with doing all these flips? You see your mom do them at home? No? Well, how did you get involved doing this stuff? Did you see somebody on TV? No? Did you learn to do it from somebody?
No.
Nobody taught you. You just learned on your own?
Yeah.
My goodness. You could probably be in a club or something. Would you ever consider being like maybe on a gymnastics team or something?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I am.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay. Well, good. We can talk about that. Do you guys have competitions where you go out and compete against other teams?
She hasn't yet.
She hasn't yet.
It'll start in the fall and next winter.
Oh, I bet you can't. You just hold your breath sometime when she does some of this stuff. You just think, oh God, please
I wish
don't.
she would stop a little.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Yes, and I think it was the Reed Custer game. I see the cheerleaders go out and they got the student body up, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this over and over and over again. And I said to my buddy, I said, what is that? And finally, I see her walking amongst some adults. She had done it the entire width of the baseline. I mean, and she didn't look tired. Did she have that kind of energy at home?
Yeah, she never stops.
Oh, how did she get involved? Did she want to go to Dad's practice, or did she like a particular ball player? How did this all come about?
She started Golden's gymnastics when she
Okay.
was 2 because she
Okay.
had so much energy.
Okay.
I couldn't keep her down.
Uh-huh.
And she was,
Well, you're doing a good job now. Yeah.
so she started that at 2 and she loves it. So we just keep going.
What do they say about her as far as at the goals? I mean, do they say, this is a special young lady. You just don't get out and do everything that she's doing. I'm sure there's other girls out there that can do it, but I'm saying she just seems to do it without any effort. It doesn't seem to faze her a bit.
Yeah, I think they like her. I think they want her to stay and be on the team and
Mhm.
see how far she can go. She wants to go, one day she wants a gold medal.
Excellent. Well, I think she's definitely got the potential. What'd you say, Tyree?
I want a bunch of gold medals.
You want a bunch of gold medals. So you're going to be active in more than one thing, aren't you? Huh? Let me ask, do you ever during a game watch Coach Olafson? Do you ever watch him when he's coaching? No? No. You're thinking about your next routine, aren't you? Huh? Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do? A backflip, a cartwheel? What's your favorite thing to do?
Backflip.
A backflip. Cameraman Chris, if I ask her if she can do it, do you think you can keep the camera on this young lady? I just want some people to see what this young lady can do. Would you step out there and maybe you could do 1 or 2 in front of us? Would you do that for me? Would you? Do a little backflip? Step out there. I just want people to see. Let me see it. Oh, I'm telling you. I just want you to know that you were worth the price of admission to go in and watch you, and I do think you were a secret weapon because I know there were times when I was looking at those Reed Custer players and they were looking at you. They weren't paying attention to that coach over there. I want you to know you had a big hand in it. You might want to let Coach Olafson know there's a couple wins that he chalked up that you took credit for, okay? And will you do me a favor if you get in competition? Would you come back and see us sometime?
Yeah.
We'll look at some of your gold medals, okay?
Okay.
All right, there's Ty Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. It's about time to get the entire squad up here. Coach, we've had some of the seniors and other folks up here. Would you do me the honor? I'd like to have all the team get in front of me. Could you just bring them up one at a time? Because I want people to see the Class A regional champs from Reed Custer, the Herscher Tigers. Come on up here, gentlemen. Come on up here.
Okay, Kyle Eichel, Thomas Winicki, Mitch Camp, Evan Patchett, Caleb Benoit, Chad Duncanstein List, Philip Olson.